Netflix's Baby Reindeer is so disturbing, and the drama that has followed it is even more outrageous.
The hit show Baby Reindeer, the creator says it's based on his real-life experience with a stalker. Now fans are trying to find the real people behind the story.
41,071 emails, 350 hours of voicemail, 744 tweets, 46 Facebook messages, 4 fake Facebook accounts, 106 pages of letters, and 1 cup of tea.
Hello Donuts! Today we are going to be taking a deep dive into Netflix's newest drama, Baby Reindeer. I'm going to give you my opinion on the show as a whole. We're going to walk through different areas of the show that's left the internet entirely gobsmacked. We're going to talk about the drama that has unfolded since the show's been released, about the real people that were portrayed in the show, and we're going to cover the creator of the show, Richard Gadd's response to everything, because it's absolutely mental. So get comfy. So if you haven't actually watched Baby Reindeer, here's a quick summary of it. It's about a 34-year-old man named Donnie, who is played by Richard Gadd, and he's like an aspiring comedian in the show. However, he works in a pub while he's pursuing this dream, and one day a woman called Martha walks into this pub crying, so Donnie feels sorry for her and he gives her a cup of tea because she can't afford anything. And to cut a long story short, basically this instigates the worst period of Donnie's life, as Martha stalks and harasses him with over 40,000 emails, hundreds of graphic voice notes where she's like declaring her love for him. She even turns up to where he lives and sits outside his house for months on end. So this basically takes over his entire life. Now you might be thinking, if you haven't watched this, wow, this show sounds like an outrageous plot. I need to watch this. Surely it can't get more mental. Well, that's where you're wrong, because the entire show is actually based on a true story. This true story is based on Richard Gadd, who in fact plays Donnie in the show. So he's basically reliving all of his trauma live in front of us. First off, what the fuck? That is mental. Can you imagine, like, the Joker in Batman, like, the actual Joker just reliving everything that he did? The thing's absolutely mental, man. And I believe this is one of the main reasons that has made Baby Reindeer blow up, because the show as itself is actually a good show. It's just the fact that it's actually played by the real-life person gives it a whole other dimension. Wouldn't want to be backstage on that set. That would be, honestly, like, Flanders Field. And Richard Gadd did say in an interview that he has tried to keep the real identities of the real people who are played in the show like secret. However, this failed dramatically, which we are going to cover later in this video. But before we get onto that, I just kind of want to talk about a couple of moments in this show that really stuck with me because they're absolutely mental. This part of the show flashbacks to a time in Donnie's life when he was trying to make it as a comedian at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, when an older writer named Darrien claims he can help Donnie further his career. But later in the show, he actually finds out that Darrien was using him, and he's actually SA'd by Darrien. And honestly, the way they shoot these scenes is harrowing. Genuinely, at one point, like, I had to look away. It was genuinely horrific. And honestly, the way that Richard Gadd must have been feeling when he had to relive that trauma in his life, but not only relive it, like, shoot it multiple times, like, that wouldn't have been one take from different angles. Like, the mental strength of this man is honestly remarkable. It's actually quite inspiring that he's managed to overcome this and then tell this story to us in a way that we can understand it and feel his pain. This particular scene really spoke to me. It actually made me open up on my Reacts channel about an experience I've had with SA. So if you're interested in watching that video, go and watch it after I finish this one. And I don't know if that was kind of one of the aims with this show, but I just want to say, anyone that did work on Baby Reindeer who is watching this, like, your show literally inspired me and gave me strength to come out with my story. So thank you so much for that. This show genuinely is one of my favorite shows ever. And after this part of the show occurs, like, the entire kind of mood shifts to Donnie trying to cope with the trauma of what he's just went through. And there's one scene where he opens up to his parents about everything that he's been going through over the past few months. And Donnie is really nervous about coming out, especially to his dad, about this experience, because he believes that he's going to be met with probably something that he doesn't want to hear. And this part of the show actually made me cry when I watched it, because his dad actually opens up about an SA experience that he went through when he was a child.
I guess I never wanted you to know, because I didn't want you to think less of me, you know, as a man.
Oh, Donnie, of course we do. You're our son, whatever happens.
I just feel less of one if and let something like that happen to me.
Would you see me as less of one?
Oh my god.
Would you see me as less of a man?
Well, no.
I grew up in the Catholic Church.
Oh my god. Do you know the goosebumps that are running through my body right now? This scene is one of the most touching scenes I've ever watched, right? To be fair, one time I saw a 90-year-old grandma on Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway win a Mini Cooper. It's probably a close second to that. But I think it's because of my own experiences about not being able to talk to my family about it. This really hit with me because you can really see in Richard Gadd's face the emotion of when this actually happened. He's portraying it so well to us. Like, this feeling that he must have had at this moment is just, oh my god. And I feel like this part, especially when they embrace here, Donnie goes for the handshake with his dad because that's like the man thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything's like that's just what you do. It's weird, like, hugging as men, even in their family. Like, I feel weird if I like hugged one of my dad or my it just feels, for some reason, it's dead odd. That's like such a toxic masculinity thing. Like, opening up is seen as like weird as a guy. Like, for some reason, you're trained not to open up. This show right now, I guarantee, is motivated so many people to talk about their experience, especially if it's like a son talking to their dad. Like, the power of just seeing a bit of media like this can't be understated at all. Some other notable things I want to mention about the show before we move on to the drama that unfolded after it. Jessica Gunnan's performance as Martha. Oh my god, this woman. Give that woman an Oscar. What are we waiting for? My god, this woman could sell water to a fish. I can't believe how convincing she was. Even I was freaked out at her, right? I was like, god, this woman makes me feel so uncomfortable. She portrays Martha as a Scottish woman in the show. Like, for some reason I just believe she would be Scottish herself, but this is actually what she sounds like. So this is her in the show.
Just bought a penthouse, furnished. All I need now is for someone to hang my curtains.
And then this is what Jessica Gunnan sounds like, the actress.
I mean, it's all in Richard's writing, really. I read the scripts in one go, all episodes, and I just absolutely was hooked. And I kind of fell in love with Martha and Donnie and their storyline. I kind of saw it as like a...
Like, I know she's an actress, right? It's not like the most amazing thing to be able to do another accent, but my god, she embodied that role so well. Like, unbelievably well. She genuinely could have been the real Martha, like, in real life, and I would have been like, yeah, they've just paid her a lot of money to come in. And one of the reasons I think Baby Reindeer is so good is because Richard Gadd didn't kind of portray himself as a victim. Like, he was a victim, but the whole thing wasn't like, oh god, like, poor me. He actually portrayed his flaws in the show just to make it more balanced and just give the show overall more layers.
I'm brutally honest with myself in the show as well. Like, there's a lot I didn't do right. You know, it's not just a victim narrative. I think it would have been easy for me to do this show and sort of be like, oh, I offered a cup of tea to a stranger, aren't I wonderful? And then, oh my god, I ruined my life. But no, I made a lot of mistakes on the way, and I didn't behave appropriately in a number of scenarios, which made the situation worse.
There's some scenarios that you might be talking about, like, for instance, when he masturbates over her. Like, for me, even if I was writing this show, I would be like, we'll just glaze over that. Right, we'll just leave that one. We don't need to put that one in, do it, guys? Right. Oh, I've never masturbated. What's masturbation? So yeah, overall, I would genuinely give this series like a 10 out of 10. It's so good. However, what followed after the show released is not a 10 out of 10. It is actually really tragic. So now we've covered the actual show, I really want to cover the aftermath because there's a lot of things that have happened, and genuinely, I can't believe that people are actually acting like this. Because I've never seen a reaction to a show like this, ever. The people that are watching this show are so toxic. Some of the people that are watching this show are almost as toxic as Martha. Just quickly, guys, before we proceed with this video, make sure you subscribe to join the donuts. We're trying to get 400,000 donuts on this channel, so make sure you've pressed subscribe, then you've got loads of TV show and movie videos to binge watch when you're bored. So Richard Gadd has spoken many times about how he tried to hide the real identity of Martha, as he believes that Martha was a victim like he was a victim. He believes the system failed her. He's not trying to portray her as like a villain or somebody that should be shamed for what she was doing. Well, unfortunately, Richard Gadd didn't actually hide the identity of Martha well enough, because the internet did what the internet does, and they found her, allegedly. So there's an iconic line that Martha says in Baby Reindeer, and this is basically like something like, my curtains need hung badly. Basically, she's like doing like a sexual innuendo for wanting to shag Donnie. Now, somehow, the detectives of the internet have found these actual tweets from the real life Martha, dating back to 2014, and the apparent real life name of Martha is a woman called Fiona Harvey. This is allegedly, by the way, I have to say that. And she tweeted on the 23rd of September 14, my curtains need hung badly and tagging Richard Gadd. This might not be the actual Martha, but it's such a coincidence. How many times in your life has somebody said to you, God, will you want you to hang me curtains? Like, that doesn't just happen unless I'm the odd one out. If somebody said that to me, I can't lie, that would kind of make me feel sick and I would kind of get the ick. She's also tagged him saying, please go and see Richard Gadd's show. It's well written and erotic. The filmed bum shots are the best. Fantastic ass. Right, a little bit intense there. And obviously in the show, Donnie talks about all the emails that he received off Martha, and in the actual tweets from Fiona Harvey, she's tagged Richard Gadd saying, did you get my emails or am I emailing the wrong address? Thanks, you can let me know. The evidence, it's a bit overwhelming, you could say. The shoe kind of fits, is basically what I'm trying to say. And moving forward with this, the real life Martha has actually been doing interviews with various media outlets, and she's basically saying she's threatening to sue Netflix, and she basically calls herself an attractive lawyer, which again, it just fits with the show. Richard Gadd did not hide her identity that well, because everything she's saying now is identical of what she's like in the show. Even the way she looks, like they've released photos of her in this article. I mean, you could probably spot her, right? They could have at least changed her appearance a little bit and had the same personality maybe. So yeah, I just want to go through this article and just kind of like break it down a little bit. She basically looks like your estranged auntie that would call you really handsome, you know, when you get a little bit older. You're like, whoa, what's their intentions? A little bit weird. Yeah, she basically says, I'm a highly competent lawyer. I'll have to do it myself. I'm very good, which matches with the show when she kept claiming to be a lawyer. However, she couldn't even afford a Coke at a pub. I have a photographic memory and can memorize huge files. Okay, Mike Ross, calm down. I was top in my school at everything. You know, if the show is portraying you a certain way, surely you just don't live up to it if you're trying to sue them. You're basically just confirming everything they said about you in the show. She also says, like, I'm very attractive. He's not Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's such like a millennial or boomer person to choose. Do people still find Brad Pitt attractive? Do they? Doesn't the man look like Gandalf now? There's a fat actress that's supposed to be me. He's come up with this character called Martha and he's put me right in the frame. I mean, you're kind of, with this article, you're kind of incriminating yourself a little bit, I can't lie. This is a program for the 20-somethings, the people with no lives, no jobs, whatever. Alright, kind of a little bit close to home. Did you have to really hit me? Why did you say fuck me for? That's not very fair, is it, Martha? I was on your side until that. I mean, it's a TV show. Like, what is... Can people not have lives and watch TV? What are we not... Like, what is this? She sounds like one of those, like, hustle guys who has a podcast. Man, you just gotta give up your 20s and then one day you can be an attractive lawyer like me. She also says, I don't want to be a celebrity, yet she's doing interviews with various media outlets. I feel like if you really wanted to sue Netflix, you would kind of do this in the background and do it with yourself being a lawyer. Like, you are a lawyer yourself. You know how you can set up your case the best way as possible. Surely this isn't the best way. She also said in another article that I am the victim here, not Richard Gadd. I've had death threats as a result of the show, despite the fact that a lot of the things he claimed are just not true. And of course, that is like awful. Like, why would you send death threats to this woman? Like, yes, she was very mentally unwell. Like, she was portrayed as mentally unwell. So why would you then go to this woman to try and make her more mentally unwell? Like, that is sick. She didn't ask for this show to be released. Like, I imagine she might not have even knew that this show was being created until it was actually released. So she has nothing to do with the actual show. So yeah, obviously Martha is labelled as a stalker in the show and everybody's been clowning her for that. However, for some reason, people in real life have then decided to go and stalk the real life Martha. Did you not learn anything? Richard Gadd literally made this show about something that ruined his life, and then you're just taking the role of Martha and doing this to the real life. What are you doing? So yeah, basically people have found her actual Facebook, allegedly her actual Facebook, where she has just been writing post after post after post about Baby Reindeer. For instance, she wrote this: I've never fancied Richard Gadd. The day he asked me to sleep with him, he had a big green spot on his face. Huge. This will amuse fans, but it's true. I obviously said no. I don't fancy him. Was this him exploring his sexuality? God only knows. He may be making up this PTSD. God only knows. There's hundreds of these Facebook posts. I can't read them all. Richard Gadd kept moaning about money and being badly paid by the bar owner. We exchanged Scottish banter. I'm not too sure you can pay your rent with that. Hello, Richard Gadd. Have you got your rent this month? Well, you see, landlord, I thought this month I'd just pay with Scottish banter. Oh, God. There you go. 3 months worth. Have that for nothing. In some of the posts, she was actually claiming to not know who Richard Gadd was, yet she'd wrote so much stuff about him. And another alarming thing is there's also been fake Facebook accounts created of her who are writing fake posts as the real life Martha. I can't believe how messed up the viewers of this show are. Can you imagine? One day you're in Morrison's picking up a fresh loaf of bread. The next day, you're the internet's biggest villain and there's about 40 people pretending to be on Facebook. Life comes at you fast, guys. Okay. And one thing I just want to say is, if you are one of those people that are like harassing this real life Martha, please stop, because she didn't ask for any of this. The show wasn't designed to find the real life person. Like, obviously Richard Gadd has said that he tried to hide their identity, so just please stop if you are harassing this woman. Strangely, the internet has been more concerned about finding out who the real Martha is, rather than the real villain of Baby Reindeer, Darrien. Like I said previously in this video, it can be argued that Martha wasn't too aware of what she was doing because she's obviously mentally unwell. However, Darrien in the show definitely knew what he was doing. This man was like a master manipulator and really ruined Donnie's life. Yet, for some reason, only a few people are trying to expose who this person is. What was interesting was yesterday, this news article got released, which I found fascinating. Richard Osman, who you might know from Pointless, he's also an author, a very respected celebrity. He came out in The Independent and said, everyone in the industry knows who Baby Reindeer abuser is. He also said that Richard Gadd has been very open to people in the industry about who that person was, which is fascinating, because this says to me that almost Richard Gadd has hid the identity of people, but maybe, you know, if that person could be found out, that might not be the worst possible outcome. You never know. And I don't want to mention who the accused are right off the bat, because this allegation, it genuinely could ruin your life. Like, imagine being an innocent person and then being accused of this. This could break your whole family, break your job. It would be life ending. And I don't believe there's like as concrete evidence as to who the real life person could be, whereas with Martha, you kind of had the receipts of her tweets. Clearly the real life Darrien was a lot smarter in like kind of, you know, covering his tracks, making sure this couldn't come back to him. He's hardly going to do what he did to Richard Gadd and then tweet about it right after. That would be horrific. That would be even more horrific. However, Richard Gadd himself actually came out and defended one of the people that is being accused of being the real life Darrien. Hi everyone, people I love, have worked with and admire, including Sean Foley, are unfairly getting caught up in speculation. Please don't speculate on who any of the real life people could be. That's not the point of our show. Lots of love, Richard. So yeah, this person that he mentioned was getting accused of being the real life Darrien because he apparently looked like him, which by the way is such an outrageous thing for somebody to just say, oh, well, you look like the person, you must be the person that did that horrific crime. Like, you need a little bit more evidence than that to accuse somebody. And if Richard Gadd came out and specifically said it's not this person, I feel like you should respect what he has to say. And Sean Foley himself has actually tweeted out about this. Police have been informed and are investigating all defamatory abuse and threatening posts against me. And yeah, like I said earlier, this is my issue with some of the fan base that have watched Baby Reindeer. It's just so ironic that this show was created to you know, raise awareness of horrific acts that happen in society, such as stalking, harassment, and instead of people taking that on board, it's like they've completely missed the point of the show. They're in fact doing it themselves. Like, make it make sense. Like, this is not a game. This is not like, oh, let's see who can find out who it is first. This is real life people. And I kind of want to talk more about this section of the Baby Reindeer audience. There's some TikTok accounts that have like no moral compass at all regarding this show. For instance, there's this guy who's been doing loads of Baby Reindeer TikToks because they're banging for him and he's probably making a little bit of money off it. And he's been fabricating fake messages between him and Richard Gadd. You won't believe this DM I've just received regarding my posts about this character. And then basically he shows like this fake message that Richard Gadd sent him saying, hello, I truly love your work and the attention you are bringing to the show, but you are also causing me some potential legal trouble. I'm not saying you are right or wrong, but with posts hitting large numbers of viewers like yours, this is so fake. I'm personally having to reach out and hope we can contain this. Please can you remove all posts regarding Miss Fiona Harvey? All other posts are fine. Glad you enjoyed the show. It's like, do you really think Richard Gadd, the person who created the #1 show on Netflix at the minute, is messaging someone with 39,000 followers on TikTok saying saying, I truly love your work. I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. Your work is literally just faking things. Your work, like, what do you mean your work? You just post shit. He's also, like, faking rumours of, like, a season 2 happening from the perspective of Martha. Like, this man is just engagement farming because he knows that it's making him money. Let's just say this DM was real. There's another photo on this TikTok slide where he puts, in two minds. Part of me feel like taking them down. Other part of me makes me think maybe my posts are too close to the truth. What should I do? What do you mean, what should you do? This is a real life story. And if this DM was real, which it's not, the man has asked you to take them down. So take them down. This person must be like 8 years old. Like, how thick can you actually be? This specific account is like commenting on loads of other TikToks about Baby Reindeer, trying to get like promotion for his own account off it. I was working in London for 2 weeks recently, and I have had a weird experience with a Fiona Harvey. I have posted a video, will update everyone. The man is just lying about like meeting the real life Martha. Like, what are you doing? You're so strange and weird. I've genuinely never seen such a weird reaction to a show ever. Like, what happened to watching a show and going, that was really good. I hope everyone's okay. Why do we need to ruin the lives of the people in the show? Why are we so intense now? Other things people have been kind of discovering, which I actually don't mind, is the real life footage of scenes that Richard Gadd actually did at the time that were mentioned in Baby Reindeer, such as one of Donnie's stand-up routines where Martha was watching in the crowd. In the real life one that Richard Gadd did, you can hear Martha laughing.
Venus Williams,
Oh my god, the laugh is the exact same as what it was in the show. I can't lie, I am kind of obsessed with the entire lore around this show, and like, I'm always kind of checking what's going on, and I don't know if that makes me as bad as some of the people. Like, I'm not harassing the people though, I'm just interested. Like, I do want to know who the real life people in the show are. I'm not trying to be like a vigilante myself and seeking it, but then am I bad because it's such a weird thing that you've got to have the conversation with yourself whether you are the weird one for wanting to know. It's like, why do we want to know? You know, like, why do we need to know? It's like, sometimes you have to think of yourself and think, am I a weird person because I kind of want to know? Weird. But yeah, let me know your opinion on the Baby Reindeer show as a whole, and actually the drama that unfolded after it. Let me know about what you think about the real life people, if you think that this Fiona Harvey actually is the real life person. I just want to have like a debate in the comments because I love reading the comments, and I genuinely love people's opinion on this show. And yeah, like I said earlier in this video, if you want to see me open up about my own experience of SA, click right here, because it's a video I did on my Reacts channel where I open up about it. Or if you want a bit of a lighter watch my brand new video on a TV show right now.
Kirkham, baby!